What if I told you America is still the most powerful country in the world, but it's already losing control in ways most people don't notice yet? This didn't begin with a war. It didn't start with an attack. It started quietly, in boardrooms, trade deals, currencies, and decisions made far away from public attention. Every day, the news talks about elections, culture wars, and political drama. But behind all that noise, something much bigger is happening. Power is shifting, influence is changing hands, and America is reacting instead of leading. This is not anti-America. This is not propaganda. This is reality. History shows that great powers don't collapse overnight. They lose influence slowly, quietly, until one day the world realizes the rules have changed. In this video, you'll see how America is losing leverage, who is gaining power, and why almost no one wants to talk about it. And by the end, you may understand why everything around you feels more expensive, more unstable, and more uncertain than ever before. For decades, America controlled the world without needing permission. Its military protected global trade routes. Its companies built the technologies everyone depended on. And its currency became the foundation of the global economy. If America spoke, markets moved. If America sanctioned, countries suffered. If America led, others followed. But the world has changed. Power today is no longer just about aircraft carriers and missiles. It's about supply chains, energy control, manufacturing, data, and money flows. And this is where the cracks begin to show. America consumes far more than it produces. It relies on foreign manufacturing for critical goods. It prints money to solve problems instead of building long-term value. That doesn't look like weakness, until suddenly it is. Because dependence always feels safe, until it isn't. Look at what Americans experience every single day. Prices keep rising, wages lag behind, savings shrink. You're told it's temporary, you're told it's global. You're told it's under control. But ask yourself a simple question. Why does life feel harder even when the economy is strong? The answer lies in the system that once gave America unmatched power, the dollar. For decades, the world needed dollars to trade, to buy energy, and to survive financially. That demand gave America enormous influence. But now, something historic is happening. Countries are trading directly with each other. Energy deals are being signed without the dollar. Debt is growing faster than economic growth. When money starts losing trust, power fades quietly, not with explosions, but with pressure. That pressure is what you feel every time you shop, pay rent, or plan your future. While America argues internally, the rest of the world is planning decades ahead. They are investing in infrastructure, securing resources, building trade alliances, preparing for a future that doesn't rely on American leadership. They don't need to defeat the United States, they only need to outgrow it. Power today belongs to those who control the future, not those who dominated the past. And the most dangerous part is this. America is no longer setting the rules, it is responding to them. History repeats this pattern every time. Every empire believed it was permanent. Every empire ignored the warning signs. America is not collapsing tomorrow, but it is slipping, and slips become falls when denial lasts too long. What happens next depends on whether people are willing to face uncomfortable truths or keep pretending nothing has changed. For decades, America didn't just participate in the world system, it designed it. After World War II, the rules of global power were written in Washington. Trade routes were protected by American ships. International institutions followed American interests, and the US dollar became the center of everything. If a country wanted to grow, it needed access to American markets. If it wanted stability, it needed American approval. If it wanted security, it needed American protection. That was real power. America didn't have to threaten. The system itself did the work. But here's the part most people miss. That system only works when everyone believes America will always be the strongest player, and that belief is cracking. Factories that once powered the American middle class moved overseas. Cheap labor and short-term profits replaced long-term independence. At the same time, other countries learned America's playbook and improved it. They didn't copy the lifestyle. They copied the strategy. Manufacture at scale, control resources, secure supply chains, plan decades ahead. America, meanwhile, focused on consumption. The country that once built everything became the country that buys everything. That shift didn't feel dangerous at first. It felt convenient: cheap goods, fast growth, easy money. But convenience has a cost. When you don't control what you need, you don't control your future. And now, for the first time in generations, America is discovering what it feels like to depend on others for things it once dominated. Power didn't disappear, it slowly moved, quietly, into new hands. And once power leaves, it rarely comes back the same way. The world America built is still standing, but the foundations are no longer fully under its control, and that changes everything. The first real warning signs didn't come from politicians or headlines. They came from everyday life. Groceries cost more, rent keeps climbing, healthcare feels unaffordable, and somehow, no matter how hard people work, it feels like they're falling behind. You're told the economy is strong. You're told jobs are up. You're told everything is fine. But lived reality tells a different story. This is what economic pressure looks like when power starts to weaken. For decades, America had a unique advantage. It could spend more than it produced and still stay on top. Why? Because the world needed dollars. Other countries had to earn money. America could create it. That privilege allowed massive deficits, endless borrowing, and global influence without immediate consequences. But privilege only lasts as long as trust does. Now, debt is rising faster than growth. Interest payments are exploding. And confidence in the system is slowly eroding, not collapsing, eroding. At the same time, countries that once depended on the U.S. are building alternatives: alternative trade routes, alternative payment systems, alternative alliances. None of these moves alone destroys American power, but together they reduce it. This is how decline actually happens. Not with panic, not with chaos, but with pressure that builds year after year. Inflation becomes normal. Debt becomes permanent. And the future feels smaller than the past. The danger isn't that America is poor. The danger is that America is trapped in a system that worked when it dominated the world, but strains when it doesn't. And the longer that reality is denied, the harder the adjustment becomes. Because systems don't collapse when people are afraid. They collapse when people pretend nothing is wrong. While Americans argue over headlines, elections, and personalities, the rest of the world is moving quietly and deliberately. This is how power really shifts, not with speeches, but with planning. Across the globe, countries are investing in things that determine the future: infrastructure, energy, manufacturing, technology, and long-term trade partnerships. They are securing raw materials. They are locking in supply chains. They are building systems that don't rely on American approval. This isn't about replacing the United States overnight. It's about reducing dependence on it. Because true power belongs to the country that others can't live without. For decades, that was America. But now, influence is spreading. Energy deals are being made outside traditional frameworks. Trade corridors are being rerouted. New financial networks are being tested. None of this makes headlines in everyday news, but it changes the world. And here's the most uncomfortable truth: America is reacting instead of leading. Sanctions used to be unstoppable. Now they come with workarounds. Economic pressure used to force compliance. Now it encourages alternatives. History shows this pattern clearly. Every dominant power reaches a point where its tools stop working the way they used to. Not because it's weak, but because the world has adapted. America is still powerful, but power that isn't expanding is shrinking by comparison. And in a competitive world, standing still is falling behind. The shift isn't loud, it's strategic. And once it's complete, reversing it becomes almost impossible. That's how global power really changes hands. The final question isn't whether America is losing power. It's whether anyone is willing to face what that really means. Because decline doesn't announce itself. It shows up as frustration, as uncertainty, as a sense that the future feels harder than the past. America is not collapsing tomorrow. There will be no single moment, no dramatic headline, no clear ending. Instead, there will be a choice: adapt or deny. Every great power in history reached this moment. Some adjusted, reformed, and evolved. Others pretended their dominance was permanent. The difference determined who survived the shift and who became a lesson. America still has unmatched advantages: innovation, resources, talent, and influence. But advantages only matter when they're used intentionally. Power in the modern world belongs to those who build, plan, and lead, not those who argue, delay, and react. The world is changing whether anyone talks about it or not. And the future will belong to the countries that recognize reality early, not the ones that discover it too late. The question is no longer what the world will look like. The question is who will shape it.